Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are focusing on a single, really fascinating event. It's like a perfect snapshot of where academic talent meets raw industry demand.
Exactly.
We're going to be diving deep into the University of Hyderabad, UH, and this high-stakes exhibition they just held.
That's right. Our source material really centers on this one showcase, Archetype 2025. And the key here is that it didn't just invite feedback. It was inviting investment.
So that's the mission for our deep dive then, to dissect this convergence, right? Especially with this key industry player, VINSPIRE, and figure out what it tells us about R&D talent in India right now.
Yeah, the speed, the efficiency of it all. It's a new model.
Okay, so let's set the stage a little. We're talking about Archetype 2025. It was held by the School of Computer and Information Sciences at UOH on November 17th, 2025.
And this wasn't some sprawling university fair. You have to picture it. It was very targeted, very high concentration. It was chaired by Professor Salman Abdul Moiz.
Right, and the source mentions a specific number of projects.
The key detail is that specificity. We're talking about just 19 cutting-edge prototype demonstrations.
Yeah.
So these weren't, theoretical white papers.
These were working concepts.
Working concepts, exactly, from M.Sc. second-year students. They basically had one shot to prove their research was viable. And the stakes were just inherently high because of who was in the room evaluating them.
And that's where the story gets really interesting, isn't it? Because the evaluation panel, it didn't look like an academic committee at all. It was more like a lineup of major corporate partners.
100%. It wasn't peer review. This was market validation live.
So who was on this jury?
Well, this jury for Archetype 2025 really put an industry spotlight on these students. We're talking senior professionals from absolute giants like Microsoft, Qualcomm.
The big global players.
The biggest. And alongside them, you had people from premier Indian institutions like the IITs and...
And just to pause on that for a second, for you listening, if you're less familiar with the Indian education system, the IITs and Leonids are, they're the top tier incubators for engineering and tech talent.
Absolutely. So when their people are judging alongside Microsoft, the bar is set incredibly high.
It's a guarantee of quality control.
Yes. Which becomes crucial when you introduce the star attendee, Mr. Abdulwasey Mohammed, the CEO of VINSPIRE. He was there as a distinguished jury member.
The CEO himself.
The CEO. And for a CEO of that stature to dedicate time to this, it's not just a nice gesture. It's a statement about the talent UOH is producing. He sees it as mature, ready.
It tells you VINSPIRE sees this as a pre-vetted sourcing channel. So, okay, let's pivot. What were they actually looking for? What were the criteria this heavyweight jury was using?
This is, I think, the most crucial takeaway. The metrics were designed to feel like a real-world investment pitch.
Not a thesis defense.
No, not at all. They had 4 pillars. They were innovation, technical depth, relevance, and real-world applicability.
Okay, let's break those down, because there's a subtle but really important difference between the last two, right? Yeah. Innovation is novelty, new ideas, and technical depth. That makes sure the solution is robust, that it won't just fall apart.
Correct. Technical depth is like checking the foundations of a building. It has to be able to scale. But where the industry eye gets really sharp is on relevance.
Relevance.
Relevance asks, are you solving a problem that actually exists today? Is there a current market need for this, or is it just, theoretically interesting?
So a technically brilliant solution to a problem nobody has is not going to cut it.
Exactly. But then you hit the fourth, and maybe the most commercial one, real-world applicability.
Okay, so how is that different from relevance?
Well, relevance asks, is there a problem? Applicability asks, can this specific prototype be dropped into a commercial system tomorrow, and what would it cost?
Wow. That is a critical distinction. So the students were being judged not just on the idea, but on the practical hurdles of making it a product.
Yes. If they were presenting, say, some new AI security protocol, the jury was probably thinking, could VINSPIRE plug this into our infrastructure next week with minimal friction?
So for you listening, what this shows is that these students weren't just prepping for a future job search. They were auditioning their IP for immediate market potential.
The whole thing turned into a sort of venture capital demo day.
Which brings us to the impact, the industry response. It seems to prove how effective this model is. Mr. Mohammed's reaction was noted that he was deeply impressed.
Right, but the praise was just the warm-up act, really.
So what was the main event?
The real core takeaway is the concrete outcome, what happened on the spot. VINSPIRE didn't just applaud. They identified potential in several projects and immediately, right there, offered collaborations and internships to certain students.
That action is the proof of concept, isn't it? It's that immediate jump from academic prototype to an industry application pipeline.
It just shrinks that gap. The gap between university innovation and corporate adoption can be years long. Here, it was zero.
Think about the competitive advantage that gives VINSPIRE.
Yeah, it's huge. They're essentially getting first-look rights at pre-vetted, high-quality R&D talent and potential IP. They get to bypass the whole costly, time-consuming recruitment process.
So they're almost using the university curriculum as their early-stage R&D arm.
That's a great way to put it. They're externalizing the cost of that early speculative research. Instead of funding 19 internal teams, they let the university system produce the ideas, and they just cherry-pick the most viable ones.
Based on those 4 market-driven criteria we talked about.
Exactly. And it wasn't just a transaction. The sources note that in the closing session, the jury offered real feedback, career guidance, motivation.
A mentorship aspect.
A true mentorship aspect. Mr. Mohammed even praised UOH and Professor Moiz for fostering this culture of research and collaboration. So it feels like a partnership. They're invested in the ecosystem, not just poaching the end result.
So let's zoom out. Let's connect these dots to the bigger picture. Why is a company like VINSPIRE dedicating CEO-level resources to this scouting model?
It ties directly into their strategic priorities. I mean, their stated organizational mission is basically threefold. 1, empower emerging innovators. 2, promote impactful R&D. And 3, contribute to India's tech and research landscape.
Okay, impactful R&D can sound like, corporate jargon.
Yeah.
If we peel that back, what does it actually mean for a company like VINSPIRE?
It means R&D that moves the needle right now. R&D that gives them an edge against competitors, the Microsofts, the Qualcomms. By engaging directly like this, they aren't just filling their talent pipeline.
They're influencing it.
They're influencing the direction of academic research to align with their future product roadmap. They're making sure the university's output is immediately relevant to their needs.
So they're not just passively consuming from the national talent pool, they're actively shaping it. That sounds like a highly efficient way to build up the national pipeline for applied research.
It really is. This specific model, where industry leaders show up, they evaluate based on real-world metrics, and they immediately offer real opportunities, it just eliminates all the bottlenecks.
And it ensures students are focused on problems with immediate market interest,
creating a seamless transition for them, either into the workforce or maybe into a startup that VINSPIRE then supports.
The implication for you, the listener, is huge. It shows that if you're at a top institution like UOH, your final project isn't just an academic hurdle anymore, it could be your first commercial product.
Or your ticket straight into a top-tier corporate R&D lab. They're securing future talent and future IP at the same time.
It elevates the whole idea of a university exhibition from just a display of knowledge
to a high-stakes, pre-vetted sourcing mechanism for cutting-edge innovation. And because the evaluation is so rigorous, the risk for the corporation in those first hires is significantly reduced.
Okay, so to synthesize our deep dive, Archetype 2025 was a perfect microcosm of successful, streamlined industry-academia interaction.
Yep.
Thanks to the seriousness of the evaluation led by VINSPIRE's CEO, it moved student prototypes right out of the lab and into the opportunity pipeline, a massive accelerant for these students' careers.
It sets a really powerful and I'd say highly competitive precedent for how fast talent and innovation can be recognized and commercialized in these fast-moving markets.
Right. So VINSPIRE's stated goal is a search for impactful R&D. We spent time on those 4 criteria they used: innovation, technical depth, relevance, and real-world applicability. So for you listening, here's the final provocative thought. If you were one of those students who just got a collaboration offer and you're about to make that leap, which of those 4 criteria given VINSPIRE is already impressed by all 4? Which one will ultimately prove to be the most critical hurdle to get that prototype from a university success story to an actual sustainable commercial success in the open market?
That's a great question. Is it the technical depth that ensures it can scale without crashing? Or is it the applicability, the pure ease of selling and deploying it, that really determines if it survives long-term? Something for you to think about as you watch this next generation of innovators try to take their ideas to market.